everybody to the Pure Light conference call this evening. Hope everybody's warm and safe. And I know Rob's traveling, but Rob?
Hello? Yeah, you bet. And welcome everyone this evening. Appreciate your attendance. And tonight, we appreciate you guys on Tuesday's call. We know we had a lot of updates, and a lot of the direction of the call was on the updates, and we've had several requests
for
this evening to be able to give a little bit more of the background of the bowl. Yeah, we're getting a lot of requests on a little bit more of the technology again, back to kind of the more of the nuts and bolts of what makes our bulb different and what makes it not just a light bulb and the story behind that. So if we touch base on that a little bit, emphasize some of that, and then on the compensation plan and what we're going over. And absolutely, there is some updates that we will need to have to hit on tonight, but due to the fact that, of course, with the end of the week coming up quick, and we'll need to let everybody know that the site will be going down for a few days while we're putting the new server up and making some changes on the website and making those corrections. But I hope everybody's recognizing that this is a pre-launch, and each day we work diligently trying to figure out those bugs and how it comes in the whys, and your site should be changing considerably each day as you're seeing the upgrades in the back office. So if you still see some problems and things, someone missing or something, absolutely let us know, because we are counting through them, and today we found 2 or 3 that I think took care of the majority of the problems, and we were grateful for that one, right, Roger?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So with that, let's kind of talk a little bit more tonight on the technology and why you would want to have these bowls in your home.
Okay, I want to first start off a little bit by, someone asked a question this morning and just said they've received terrible news that these bowls produced ozone, and therefore, you know, they knew that ozone wasn't necessarily good for you, and et cetera, and she was all worried about it, and I called her, and she was in an airport, and I said, no, actually, the information you received is wrong. Our bulbs do not produce ozone. Ozone's a whole different animal. We do not produce ozone. We produce superoxygen molecules. And if you want to know a comparison, there have been those who have compared ozone with the superoxygen molecules, the titanium dioxide, and it's the titanium dioxide is 4 times more effective than ozone, no odor, and no detriment to anything that we can find. You know, so we've only been using that for, you know, about 2,000 or 3,000 years, 4,000, 6,000 years, whatever, almost 7,000 years, depending on, or millions of years, whatever, depending on your point of view of the history of the Earth. So let me go through the story behind titanium dioxide, because it's an important one, and to help everybody understand it. Titanium dioxide has been around for a long, long time, 40, 50 years. It's rated as non-toxic. It's used in vitamin pill supplements as a filler. It's used in white paint. It's used in makeup. It's used on sunscreen, a lot of sunscreen. It's used in a whole gamut of a whole lot of stuff because it's listed as non-toxic, and it is officially by the FDA as non-toxic, super healthy, no problem. There has been a study done almost 20 years ago that suggested that there was a problem with rats breathing the dust. And if you look at the study, they breathe more dust, titanium dioxide dust, 5 days a week for 2 years before they breathe more dust than air. And at the end of 2 years, they dissected the rats, and the rats had problems with it. However, it has never been able to be duplicated with any other animal or any humans, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very controversial. Some people list that. So see, this might be problems. Well, not only does the study itself have a problem with it, but we don't use dust at all. So it's kind of mute. It doesn't apply to us at all. And our particles are much bigger than what they have, almost twice as big as what they have in the study. So let me tell you the story behind titanium dioxide. Like, it's been around for a long time, and what happened was that in 1960, some Japanese researcher discovered that titanium dioxide, which is in every shovelful of dirt, there is a minute amount of titanium dioxide in every shovelful of dirt. Of course, there are ores where there's a lot of it, but it's It's everywhere. Been everywhere forever. He found out that as the sunlight hits the titanium dioxide, it actually produces an excited electron. Just like if you know anything about solar energy, when the sunlight, the photons shine on the solar panel, it produces an excited electron. And that you put a wire to that excited electron is drawn up, and it actually produces electricity. Titanium dioxide does the same thing, only it doesn't draw off; it escapes into the air. This electron, when it hits a water molecule, changes the model. Adds the water molecule and into a super oxygen molecule. And so these super oxygen molecules, he found out, there are two kinds. One is the same kind that is inside our bodies. That our white blood cells, actually, it is one of the major ways that our white blood cells and our natural immune system uses to attack bacteria and viruses. And in the body, it's designed so that it doesn't bother good cells. It only dissolves or gets rid of the bad cells, which is amazing. But that's the way God designed us. And so that's one super molecule. The other molecule is one that actually, when it comes in contact with what we call volatile organic compounds, when this molecule, superoxygen molecule, comes in contact with them, it reacts with it chemically and changes that chemical. For example, it changes when it comes in contact with carbon monoxide. It changes carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. When it comes into nitrous oxide, it dissolves that, changes it chemically to inert substances. And so as they studied this over the next few years, they found out that this was the reason why the Earth is not swimming in toxic fumes and just swimming in killer bacteria and viruses, because this goes and gets it and kills it. The nice thing about this is that ultraviolet from the sun kills it too, but it has to be shining on it. Yeah, this goes out into the shady areas, and so it literally, the detergent, the cleanser of the troposphere or the atmosphere of the Earth. And this is the reason why we're not swimming in it. And these are the reasons that these two molecules are the reason we have fresh, clean air. When you go outside and you smell that fresh, clean smell, this is the reason why. And people ask, well, how long have they tested it? How long has it been around? Like I said, about 7,000 years or 7 billion years, depending on if you believe in God, or if you believe in Darwin. Well, after they discovered this, they figured out a way to make it in nanoparticle size. Then they try to say, this is so good, this cleans everything, this cleans toxic fumes, this actually can clean smog from the air. This cleans the viruses and bacteria. And they've tested it against, if you go into our back office, there's 140, and I could have tripled that, of all the studies that are done with titanium dioxide. I mean, all the way from Salmonella, E-coli to Anthrax, of all things. They've tested against all these things, and it kills them all. It literally attaches itself, gives extra oxygen to these bad bacteria and bad viruses. They don't like the extra oxygen, and they literally die. It's a physical, they dissolve. The problem was they were trying to figure out a way to attach or glue the titanium dioxide onto a surface, and so they could, use it inside of places. And the problem was the glue they used, most of the glues would not allow it to do what we call its photocatalytic action. And that's where it's actually producing, these superoxygen molecules. Finally, NASA figured out a way to do it. They were assigned the task after the Russian space station became so polluted with fungus and mold and toxic bacteria that they couldn't live in it, and they were it would kill people and make them deathly sick. So they let that one. The Russians let it burn up in the atmosphere, fall in the ocean. So NASA, then they proposed the International Space Station. NASA was assigned the task to figure out a way to prevent what happened to the Russian space station from happening again. And I don't know, they spent maybe a couple $1 billion. Who knows? I don't know on that. But they figured out a way, a glue, a type of a glue, to attach the titanium dioxide to a surface. And so right now in the space station, there is a titanium dioxide in the space station, which is actually cleaning and purifying the air there, and keeping the mold down, and the fungus and all that kind of stuff. And that's why they're up there. Now, two problems with their version. One, the titanium dioxide would actually dissolve the glue after about a year. And the second thing, it needed to use ultraviolet light to work. And so their device actually is a fan that brings the air in, shines it along some glass tubes that have titanium dioxide on them, and the air is passed through it. Because ultraviolet light is harmful for people and harmful for plants. And so you can buy, if you look on the internet, you can find the NASA version, and it's called, I think it's Aerocide, AIROCIDE. If you look up Aerocide, it only runs about $600 to buy. So you can buy one of the International Space Station's versions of it. And of course, if you look down in the words, you have to replace the guts of it every year. My partners worked on it for almost 10 years, a completely different glue. And they came up with one, a glue that would last up to 20 years and a process to apply it. And they were applying it. And when I became involved 5 years ago, it's almost 5 years. When I became involved with it, they were using it to apply on kitchen counters, in bathrooms. They would charge people $600 and per bathroom, and $600 per kitchen. And they would put it on for an extra $50. They would coat their refrigerators, stainless steel refrigerators, and stainless steel stoves and stuff, and stainless steel sinks. And they would coat their sinks and their bathtubs and and the windows. And they would even coat, for another $200, they would coat the windows inside and outside, because it would keep the windows cleaner. They were almost self-cleaning. And they were making good money doing this. So I came across that and saw it, and I said, this is great stuff. And I spent close to $100,000, well, $50,000 first, and then later on more, $100,000 getting learning all about it, getting the rights to it, becoming a partner within the business. And the other thing is, not only will it last up from 10 to 20 years, is that they could use it on the inside, and it did not need ultraviolet light to work. It could use regular light. And so I said, well, instead of putting on a countertop and having a light shine on the countertop, why not put it on the actual light bulb, and that would increase it? And they said, well, that's a good idea. And so I went back and figured out a way to do that, and I applied for a patent. Now, in a patent pending, we have a patent pending. They don't list any patent pendings because they're not. They only list the patents after they're granted. And so we're right now in patents, waiting for it. It'll probably be another year or two. It takes a while to get this kind of stuff through. My sister actually is a patent attorney in Washington, D.C., works for the U.S. Patent Office. So our formula works with regular light, and our formulas will never be patented. They're proprietary. And we've had people, we've had the Chinese and others try to figure out from our formula, from our liquid, how to make it. And they have never been able to back engineer it yet. And they worked on it for 3.5 years. Maybe someday somebody will, doubtful, but possible. But right now, we figure we've got at least 5 years before somebody else comes up with maybe a version of it that comes close to it. Anyway, so that's what we have going. It doesn't produce any harmful effects. Every time we turn around, it's beneficial to animals. It's beneficial to plants. They use it in firefighters' oxygen masks because it helps clean the air. They use it in Navy divers' oxygen systems, rebreather systems, because it helps clean the air and produce extra oxygen. We cannot claim, and we do not claim, that it treats or cures or is designed to treat or cure any disease. But there are legions of people now who are coming out saying it's helped them. All we can claim is that, like bleach, we know it kills harmful bacteria, deadly diseases. It changes harmful pollution chemicals into non-toxic chemicals, harmless chemicals. It does it very quickly. It does it efficiently. It's just a marvelous thing. So I don't know what else I could talk. I could get into details about it. Everyone should go into how it works. If you click on the website, read how it works there. If you want the scientific version, there's another button that gives you the research, technical research on it. And then you have another button where you can read people's little experiences with it. We call it field testing. We call people their testimonials. It's actually the report on their field testing. What kind of experience are you having testing these light bulbs in the field? And I'm telling you, it's gone crazy. In fact, Darryl, I got a couple to this morning that I will not post because they were saying that cured their little infection in their foot and their cut and all that kind of stuff in just a few hours. And I think, no, okay, we can't claim that, so we don't even want to put that one up. But that's wonderful. Okay, Rob, what else do you want me to talk about?
I was just going to say that we have something that's unique, and that's why we chose the direction in the referral program that we have. So let's touch base a little bit about the Buyers Club.
Okay. Well, we decided that it is a brand new technology that very, very few people even know about or heard about. And so we determined that the best way to communicate that is through what we call a referral program, or we call it a Buyers Club. And so we're in the process, we're in pre-launch of figuring out all the do's and don'ts and getting the software and all the bugs on this Buyers Club. It's not a multi-level marketing program, and it never will be a super, 13-level network marketing where you have to buy things every month, whatever, like this. We wanted it to be a very simple, people share it, and we will pay them to help share it. And that's basically all it is we're going to pay you a little bit. I have at least 3 or 4 people every day who call up and say, you're doing things wrong. If you want to be a successful network marketing company, you've got to have a coded bonus. You've got to have this. And the answer is, we don't want to be a regular network marketing company. We want to be something that we pay people. It's very simple. And we're as complex as we want to be. And technically, in most of the aspects, we're not classified as a network marketing company. But there are a couple that we're on in what we call the gray area. So there are some people who will classify as a network marketing company. So we just updated in the back office the marketing plan. So if you go to PLT News and click on either the white button or the yellow button or the yellow button or the green button, you'll see the marketing information there. Now, we haven't changed hardly anything. We've got some nice little images and pictures, and we've given some titles to things. Somebody said, well, you've changed everything. And I said, no, actually, the only thing we've done is we've added one more bonus pool, profit sharing pool. There was one, now we've added a second one. And so people can make even more money. The whole idea is that for people, if you want to work, you could make a whole lot of money. If you sit down and take the time to go 20, and we just said, hey, 20 by 20 by 20, you start figuring out, hey, when you hit the 8,000 people, an organization, and it's not like they have to buy something every month. You just tell them about it, and they'll buy it. And we believe that our products, and we have about 30 listed. In fact, we were passing around a list of the things and trying to figure out which one's going to be in order of products over the next 3 to 5 years that we have that we're to come out with. And I handed it to a friend of mine yesterday who's been in business. He's a multimillionaire, and he's been in business a long time, and he looked at this, and he said, I want to buy some stock in the company. I said, well, we can talk. And he says, this, you don't know what you have here. And I said, we think we do. And he said, no, you really don't, Raj. I know you, and you've been in some business, but he says, this is phenomenal. Just phenomenal. You think, you might take over 50% of the light industry. I said, yeah. He says, and yet that's one product group out of about 20 I'm looking at here. I said, yeah. He says, this could be, huge. I won't tell you all the things he said. Anyway, so the compensation plan is there. Look it up. We're finalizing everything. There might be a few minor changes, but this is the plan. And we are in pre-launch, as Rob mentioned. We are in pre-launch. Things might change a little bit more before we launch. We're not going to launch this thing until we have it rock solid. We're handling everything we possibly can to take care of business right now. We're growing. We're hiring people as fast as we can. We're setting up the infrastructure. And if anything, we're saying we're moving to bigger servers. These are virtual private servers that have an infinite amount of growth and are dedicated just to our company. We don't share with anybody else. We have an unlimited pipeline. We're setting up all sorts of things. We spent 2 hours still working on on setting up the shipping software and buying in computers, more desks, and hiring more people in. So we are busy setting up the infrastructure in the manufacturing to handle and support the software. So about the time the software gets ready, we should have everything ready. Now, we are expecting that to be in a couple of weeks, but we are not going to open it up to everybody else until it is solid, rock solid. And so take the time to click on the links. If you want to know what's going on, look at PLT News and read through there. You'll find everything you need to know through there, or the buttons that will click on to someplace else. Oh, one other thing that was pointed out today. We actually do not pay for a club membership. We don't pay any commissions on a club membership. We only pay on a club member, a gold member, or somebody who purchases a minimum amount of products. And we're going to call them a qualified gold club member. And somebody asked, he said, well, listen, if I join and become a gold club member, but I personally don't purchase any products, can I sign people up? Yes, you can. We use the Mercedes-Benz salesperson concept legally. You can't require a Mercedes-Benz person to buy a Mercedes-Benz car in order to sell Mercedes-Benz cars. So you can't just join the club and then bring in people and make a commission. However, the people you bring in must purchase a minimum amount of product to qualify for your different ranks and different status positions. And that is now in all posted everywhere. There's a big important note on the PLT News. All right, Rob, what else do we need to talk about?
Maybe touch base a little bit on the future of the company and where we're trying to go, or where we'll be going with new products. The other one I think needs to be a little bit emphasized on is that we do not expect anyone to have the knowledge that on this particular product or the technology as Roger does. So if you have somebody who needs the technology, explain to them, send them to the website. That 12-minute video do the selling for you and the explanation. What you need to know is that we aren't just selling a light bulb, but we are selling something that's much more exciting than that. We have a bulb that fits into a normal socket that turns turns that light into an air purification system for your home. So please don't make it complex. I know there was a lot of excitement for the night's call because you had asked for the whole story and a little bit more of the background on the technology. But don't think for a second that you have to be that rocket scientist to understand or to be able to use that information to duplicate your own organization and network. So yeah, Roger, maybe just a couple of quick minutes on where we want to take the company here in the near future, and then we appreciate everybody's time this evening, and we can probably bring it to a close.
Okay, our goal, we are not going to introduce it to, we get calls every day, I can get you to Amazon, I can get you to Walmart. We've already turned Amazon down, we've already turned Walmart down, we've already turned Ace Hardware down. We've already turned, I could name a dozen companies, big stores that we've already turned them down. This is the method we are going to use to introduce our products to the world. We expect to have, our goal is to have at least 1 million by the end of this year, and within 5 years to have 50 to 80 million people in 20 or 30 countries in the world as our Buyers Club, members of our Buyers Club. And they will be able to purchase a product that they cannot get anywhere else. They will not be able to buy them at Walmart. They will not be able to buy them at Amazon. They'll only buy them through us. And so through this program. And that's where our goal is. We had a call from somebody from Israel today, talking to us and saying, hey, we're very much interested in that because of its antibiological, that it cures anthrax. It takes care of anthrax. It basically dissolves anthrax, makes it impotent, so it's not deadly, and other bacterial agents and stuff like that. They're very much interested in that kind of a super problem solving. And so that's the direction we want to go. We want to take it to places that unbelievable. I have to tell you, there's never been a company that's going to be like us ever. And we are unique. This is new technology. This is a new entire industry based on a new technology. And we're going to take it as fast as we can possibly go. And we want to pay you. Oh, that reminds me. There are people, we want to pay commissions out, and there are people who haven't got their information in, who are supposed to have their information in. Before we can send you a commission check, you've got to get your information in there. I'd love to pay you a commission check, but you don't have your information in your back office. We got a lot of people getting commissions for December for being in for a month, over $1,000.
That's important. I think everyone needs to know that in your initial sign-up, all this information was not required. You have got to go, treat this as a business. You've got to get in your profile now and again and make certain you have that in. So that's absolutely important, Roger, that we did mention that make certain you've got your information up to date and that it's accurate.
I could go, there's a lot. I have 209 checks to send out for commission checks for the month of December. I got some extras left over from November we want to send out. And the biggest problem is people aren't getting their information in. So get it in so we can send you checks. Thanks, Rob.
There you go. Have a good evening, Roger. Thank you. Good night, everyone.